Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you smash it right now. At 10,000 followers, we're going to have a gem dropped on you guys. All right, special treat for you. This episode right here is going to be about a raid that we did in Iraq, right? Part of our duties as a grunt infantryman in the army was to raid houses. The stuff that you see on TV when you see the police kick in the drug dealers' doors, right? Arrest bad guys and take all the drugs. In this case, we were in Iraq, 2004, searching for the ones that were attacking us, right? Because we would get attacked all the time. It was guerrilla warfare. Hit and runs, the IEDs, the ambushes, the rockets, the mortars. And this was 2004, the beginning of the insurgency. So in 2003, what you had was the invasion of Iraq, the initial push. So you had American forces, right? The Army, the Marines on the ground fighting up north to Baghdad. 2004, that push was over. We were already occupying Iraq. That's where we came in, the 1st Infantry Division. To be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. I thought the war was over. They had already captured Saddam Hussein, who said had weapons of mass destruction and was oppressing the people of Iraq. So I'm 19 years old at this time. I want you to imagine your local Starbucks barista in a combat zone. That's how young I was. That's how young 98% of my buddies were. So I'm not joking when I say it was 24/7, 365. The work never stopped. It was continuous, right? That was part of being in a conventional army, right? Not special forces, this was a regular line soldier, a regular grunt, front lines. We received intelligence, right? We often received intelligence, information of where the bad guys lived and what they had at their home, what they were about, stuff like that. Our higher ups would receive this information, this intel, come up with a plan and break it down to us. And us, I was like a E3, E4. I got specialists in Iraq, so E4. We were doing as what we were told, right? We were just smashing, right? Just the enemy. Close with and destroy the enemy. That was our job. To kill or to capture. And then they would give us the bad guy's name. I always got a trip out of that. I'm like, damn, we're literally gonna kill or capture this person. Like that's what the power that they're giving us. That's pretty intense, right? Hey, your mission is to kill or capture Abdullah Mossad, whatever, right? It's just a fictional name I made up, but that's what they sounded like. In this scenario right here, our camp used to get mortared or FOB, rocketed every single day. Forward operating base Palawada, FOB Palawada, right? I was with the 1st Infantry Division. We got attached to tankers, Bravo 177 armor. They were trying something new. They were mixing up platoons of combat engineers, infantry, tankers, and National Guard. They were just trying something new. I believe that's the way the Army is now. On this particular raid, it was Easter 2004. Oh, man. They tell us, we are going to raid the houses of the guys that have been mortaring us. So we're like, well, let's go get it. Let's go get our money. Let's get our get back. Let's do this, right? Young, motivated, dumb, eager, disciplined, professional for sure. Just killing machines, honestly. I'm not putting a 10 on it. This was the reality of it. That raid, all right, when we used to raid houses, it was like at 3 in the morning. All right, it was like at 2, 3, not really 4 because the sun would be coming up. It was like dawn when they were sound asleep. So our movement was in the dark, right? We always drove our Humvees. We didn't have anything armored. It was '04. It was in the dark. We would drive with the blacked out lights, no lights on, and night vision. So there's your boy Hector driving a Humvee in the middle of the night, pitch black, and all I could see is green, right? Because I have my night vision on. Where I was in Balad, it was like agricultural, kind of like the Imperial Valley and maybe Central Valley of California, right? You had rows of fields, green, a lot of green. The houses were kind of like ranch-style houses out and about in the countryside, right? Like that type. This was Easter. We're approaching the objective, right? We're approaching the house, and we hear over the radio like something like "man down" or something along the nature where one of us got injured, right? I'm like, what the hell happened? Come to find out, one of our buddies, Ralston, he tried to jump over a canal, like those concrete canals. He tried to jump over. He lost his footing. He smacked his forehead right on the concrete. We didn't know this, but he would eventually start getting bleeding in the brain and it's swelling in the brain. And it was a serious, whatever happened was serious, right? But he kind of tripped or whatever he did. He fell. He ate shit. Smacked his forehead on the concrete. Nothing stops. You don't stop and be like, hey, buddy, are you okay? He wasn't even with me. He was in a separate element, like in a separate area, right? We're all moving. You do not have time to stop and look after him, right? You kind of just pull him out and just keep going. I hear a gunshot, like an M16. Pah! I don't know what the hell that was. It scared the shit out of me. It got my heart racing. I was 19 years old. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have children. I was a wild dude. I was a torpedo, right? I talk about prison a lot. You have these youngsters that come in and are just ready to do the work at all cost, any cost, at the cost of their life. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, right? That's how my mentality was. Straight for the business. Straight. Wow. I hear a gunshot go off. It didn't mean that like my heart didn't race. That's called anxiety. I didn't know it then, right? But you're on alert. I don't know what that was. I don't know if they shot a dog that was like attacking them or whatever. Imagine a duplex, right? This is now we're on target. Here's a duplex. There's a door over here and a door over here. I was always a number one man, and I've said this before. Man, dude, I must have raided over 1,000 houses, right? Like, and always as a number one man. I would not have it any other way, right? I'm not putting extra on this story. This is the truth of it. The number one man meaning I'm the first one through that door. I don't care. That's what I want, right? Because that's where the action's at, up in the front. We stack on the door. I don't know if the number four man breached it or if I kicked it in. Sometimes that's what would happen. I would kick in the door and go in first. But what you're supposed to do is have your number four man come in and breach it with a tool or with just kick it, right? The door flies open. I come in. I see a kitchen. Right, there's a wall right in front of me. It's a kitchen. I make a right. Right, because as a point man, you're gonna choose where you're gonna go. Right, you're leading the train. I make a right. Now I have a door to my left. I go to the door. Wow. And as I'm in the doorway, it's like 3 a.m. There's a lady breastfeeding her kid. She was breastfeeding. She had her thing all out. The baby was just going to town, and I'm like stuck like Chuck, right? I did the worst thing you can ever do. I stopped in the fatal funnel. I stopped in the threshold of the doorway. That is the most dangerous part. They embed that in us. Do not stop in the fatal funnel. It's called the fatal funnel for a reason, because all bad guys' weapons are fixated towards that doorway. So I stop, right? Because I'm in shock. I see this lady, she has big, giant, you know what I mean, feeding her children. God bless nature, her little baby. And I'm like confused, stuck, stopped. Didn't even realize the big giant dude next to her. Now, mind you, Iraqis were smaller built, the majority. This dude, we nicknamed him the Bull, right? The Bull. Because he was stocky. I got the troops, I got my buddies pushing me. Like, hey, what do you got? What do you, like, move, right? Because finally, at the same time, they pushed me through the door because that's what you're supposed to do. You just smash. It's a train, right? We come in the room. This big giant dude jumps up. Wow. Jumps up, makes a beeline towards us. I didn't see a weapon there, but had he had one, it would have been all bad for him, right? He jumps up, he kind of rushes, attacks us. Now we're going hands-on. We're kind of scanning the room. Nobody else is in the room. We grab him as we're fighting. We fight back into the kitchen area, right? This dude is not letting us put flex cuffs on him, the plastic handcuffs, for the life of him. He's fighting us. We're fighting him. Man, this dude was strong. This dude was big. This dude was fighting. We're like wrestling. We're like cracking him. It's not really phasing him, right? My sergeant pulls out his pistol and says, turn your head, right? Because he's still fighting. So I'm like, oh, man. Like, this is about to turn ugly, right? Messy. So I turn my head. Nothing happens there, right? We crack him again. He puts his hands behind his back finally. We restrain him. We drag him out to the front of the complex. Simultaneously, my other friends hit the duplex next door. They encountered an Iraqi that jumped up, right? They smashed him with the M16 barrel, because now he's advancing towards, like, these dudes were fighters. What we found in their house, too, would acknowledge that, right? Or confirm that. Smash him down. He was skinny. That's an easy one. Zip tied him, drag him out. Oh, man. Well, they were both in the front of the house zip tied. Like, we had a lot of anger. There was a lot of anger amongst us. Like, we were in war. One of my buddies, he got stop loss. So, like, he was angry. Really angry. He was an angry person, like, without being stop loss. Stop loss meaning he was supposed to get out of the army, and they said, no, buddy, you're not getting out of the army. As a matter of fact, you're going to Iraq for 13 months. How you like them apples? You like apples? He didn't like them. He didn't like that at all, right? So he became angry, right? There was a commotion of, I don't know, man. I don't know. The dude, it was a scene to be had, right? The dude started resisting on the ground. It was just when man, this was Easter, right? We go search the house. We find stuff, AK-47s, magazines, like a lot. Like, every household is supposed to have allowed one AK-47. These guys had more than what they were supposed to have. They had the chest rigs with the magazines that hold them. They had all kinds of military gear. Like, these guys were clearly insurgents. Like, they were up to no good, for sure. And I've told you before, Iraq wasn't black or white. Like, these dudes were not the type to wear conventional uniforms and attack us. These guys were blended in with the population. They were civilians. They'd pick up weapons and shoot at us. They'd pick up mortars and rocket at us. Like, they would do this type of roadside bombs, IEDs, and eventually car bombs that were nasty. I'm going to tell a car bomb story next time. So, right, everybody's like, adrenaline's high, emotions are high. We just captured these two dudes, right? We didn't kill them, we captured them, right? They didn't do anything worth to do any extra, right? So that was the Easter raid. We take them back to our camp, right? We had a little jail cell in our camp, like old school, like shit, something you'd see out of a Western with the bars, right? That was another one of our duties, is to stand guard and watch those people as they were just chilling. It was interesting to say the least, until somebody came and grabbed them, right? Whether, I don't know if it was one of those federal agencies that we know of, those 3-letter agencies. Somebody would come and eventually grab them and take them away from us. I never asked, hey, where are these guys going? It wasn't none of my business, right? That was the Easter raid. It was an eventful one, to be for the record book. The message for today is, man, experiences, life experience, right? For the longest time, I thought I was messed up, right? I thought I was crazy. I thought like everything I had done, everything I had endured made me a bad person. That, to me, that was not the case, right? I had to get therapy, treatment, and learn about myself and learn about what I went through, right? What I went through is what I went through, combat. And a lot of us, I've told you, you don't have to have seen combat to suffer from trauma. Trauma is trauma, right? So don't let those bad experiences that you have experienced hold you back or define you. Don't let them define you, right? You have more to give, and you know that. Keep pushing forward.